First time I met Charles Barkley was in 1983. We were trying out for the Olympics, and he was this big, round player that I'd never even seen before, who was about 6'6" and full of energy, a very unique player. People said he was a power forward, but he looked more like a guard, small forward, all that wrapped up in one. And I remember him guarding me in one of the tryout practices or games, and I couldn't get by him, but he was in foul trouble, mainly because he was just knocking me all over the place. And I'm coming from North Carolina. I was about 6'4", 180 pounds, and he was 6'4", about 380. But he could move just like any agile guy. And I look at him, I think he's a very unique guy who, with all that size, was probably as quick as a guard and as powerful in terms of just getting a rebound and going straight back up against 7-footers and being just as successful, which is one of the reasons that I think he became a great player. Our bond grew from that first meeting and just getting to know his personality. I was a witty guy. He was a very, very witty guy. And we always kept trying to one-up each other, and I just think that, when you think about, the friendship that we have, it's a long-lasting friendship because of, we can let our hair down and see each other for who we really, each one of us, for who we really are. People who look to just have fun each and every day. He's a guy that you never really see him not smiling. He's always a fun-loving guy. We had some good battles. Our careers parallel. We came out at the same time. We were striving, trying to get to the top at the same time. One of us had to lose. Fortunately, it was him. But we had great, great battles. And he did everything he could to help the city of Philadelphia. I did everything I could to help the city of Chicago. I had a lot better surrounding cast over the years than he did, and that was the difference in terms of him being successful and in terms of me being successful. And, he can impact the game just as much as I could in some ways. And although he didn't play much defense and I did, but other than that, he was a phenomenon. And I think that when you look back at his career, you're not going to see many of the Charles Barkley type of players, guys of his size who can impact the game. I think he was a phenomenon of the game. He changed how you view a power forward. Up to that point is that fearlessness, the big guy who can rebound, get the ball out to the guards, post-up game. He did all that and then some, get the ball off the board and start a break. He shot threes. He rebounded in amongst the trees and went back up with authority. Small guy learned how to guard big guys, use his quickness, to guard, guys where, Kevin McHale at 6'10", and he's at 6'4", 6'5", and was able to be effective against those guys. So, when you look back at his legacy, you're not going to find another 6'5" guy who played big as well as small. Nick was a human highlight film. You never knew what to expect. The unknown is very scary. We had some great battles. Unfortunately, we never guarded each other. Our teams respectively was competitive against each other. They had success early in his career and then later in my career. But each time we faced each other, you can expect an outburst of excitement, be it, from highlight film or just scoring, and coming down to the end. We both tried to do what we could to lead our teams. I grew up with him, when he was in North Carolina, Little Washington, North Carolina, and then he was always on the verge of being considered an elite, from the public perception. But anybody within the sport always considered him an elite player, because of what he was capable of doing. He's an unsung hero in some respects. People are not really going to give him the credit that he deserved because he never really won. But if you ask anyone within the business, if you had to guard Dominique Wilkins, people would pay attention, and do everything they could to get themselves mentally ready because you could be on a highlight film in a heartbeat. That's the fear that he had amongst the league. Dumars was a great friend, but a fierce competitor. He challenged me in every facet of the game, offensively as well as defensively. We were the same age. We came out, I was a year ahead of him, but yet he was a quiet guy. You hear about these guys who don't really say much. You have to really be nervous or feared with them. He was one of those type of guys. He was an unsung hero on that Detroit Piston team. You take him off of that Detroit Piston team, they have a tough time winning. Because he was this stabling force to a team that had a lot of different components and an all-star, and a loose cannon being Dennis. But he was a consistent facet of that team, and you can count on him every single day. That to me makes him he was very smart, and even though he's not the limelight type of guy, he put up limelight type of situations and points and importance to the game.